Yes, I'd like to say that there's one thing about this business about Malcolm's home being bombed that really bothers me. He charges that the black Muslims did this. Now, there's one thing. They happen to own this home. It's not Malcolm's home. It's the black Muslims' home. Now, it seems very odd to me that the black Muslims would want to destroy their own property. It would seem more likely to me that Malcolm X would want to destroy the black Muslims' property. In other words, that he would try to just throw a couple of innocuous bombs in there that aren't going to hurt anybody. He knows they're not going to hurt anybody. They won't do too much damage. And he'll have a lot of publicity for himself. And then he can charge all he wants to, I'll take a lie detector test, because he knows that a lie detector test is not admissible in court as evidence of anything.
Malcolm, how do you answer that?
I say this, that the black Muslim movement has never had as their motive the acquiring of that home. The possession of the home itself means nothing. Elijah Muhammad lives in a $150,000 house in Phoenix, Arizona. That house is worth less than $15,000. It's not the home itself, the material home itself, that is the object of the present court battle. There's more to it than that. And anybody, I should think people should question the deputy fire marshal and the others who investigated the bombing out there that night, and let them give their story as to whether or not I could have set those bombs. And this is why I say I charged a conspiracy on the part of some of the firemen and some of the police and some of the press to give the impression that I said it.
Why would they side with the black Muslim organization against you, though, Malcolm? I don't understand that.
Well,
why you, not them? Why them, not you?
Let's answer your question this way. The press, whenever I mention that an attempt has been made on my life, they print it in such a way that I am implying that an attempt has been made. The black Muslim movement tried to kill me in Los Angeles airport 2 weeks ago while I was in the company of the Los Angeles police. The Los Angeles police stopped the TWA Airlines from taking off. They slipped airlines flight from taking off. They slipped me into a private room onto the plane through the basement because of the presence of these persons in the airport who were completely heedless of the presence of the police. Now, this airliner was held up an hour and a half. Every passenger aboard it was taken off. His luggage was searched. I was kept on the plane. My luggage was searched. And then the TW airline security agent flew to Chicago from Los Angeles with me. I was met at the airport in Chicago by the Assistant Attorney General of the state of Illinois and at least 20 different detectives. I was held in their custody for 24 hours. I appeared on the Cup Sonnet show. When I came out of the studio, officials of the black Muslim movement in Chicago even tried to attack the police to get at me. This was the Los Angeles incident was not reported in the press. The Chicago incident was not reported in the press. A couple days later, I appeared on David Sussstein's hotline on a Tuesday night, February the 2nd. Entering the studio that night, the police department had to clash with about 30 members of the local black Muslim movement who tried to inflict physical harm upon those who were appearing on the program. None of this was mentioned in the press whatsoever. Now, when by this type of incident being kept from the press, then when I jump out and say that somebody is trying to kill me, the implication is given that I'm trying to do some publicity seeking or that I'm just making these stories up. But our police department from coast to coast in this country have the black Muslim movement well infiltrated, just as they have any other group well infiltrated. They are well aware of these plots and discussions that take place.
So I'm reading the Judas Factor, The Plot to Kill Malcolm by Carl Evans. And on page 7, it states, November 7th, 1929, when his whole family stood outside shivering in their underwear, watching their house burn down. Family and friends knew that the fire was probably set by the KKK splinter group known as the Black Shirts. The White Hate Society later changed its name to the Black Legions after a movie of that starring Humphrey Bogart. KKK members in Detroit area routinely harass UNIA members, and their chief form of harassment consists on lynching and burning the homes of black activists. The police and fire marshal, many of whom belong to the KKK members in the Detroit area, was over 100,000. Disingenuous suggests that Earl Little has set the fire himself since he was facing eviction. Damn. It's funny how things turn around. Malcolm being accused of setting the fire because he himself was facing eviction, and his father dealing with the same thing. You know, I just find that to be interesting. Y'all can get the Judas Factor. You know, I suggest y'all definitely read that. But let's get to the plot. You know, let's get to Malcolm words. You know, my thoughts on this is this. You know, the Nation of Islam have characteristic. It's a way that the Nation of Islam carry themselves, right? You don't think Malcolm knew who these people was? You don't think Malcolm recognized the mannerisms in these guys whom he say himself tried to have him do in LA at the airport? I don't know. But the plot thickens. Part 4 coming soon.